Hello and welcome to another Planet Zoo video. This time I have changed things a little bit so that the entire video is just going to be a time lapse of me building the enclosure and my commentary over it. I think that might be a better format, but if you disagree then you can let me know in the comments. Something I've also changed is my live streams will only be on Twitch now, so if you want to watch these enclosures, this zoo being built live, then you could head over to my Twitch channel and follow me there. Link to that will be in the description. If you do not want to see the live streams, that's fine, just enjoy the videos and let me know what you think of it. I hope you enjoyed the video. This video I will be building a lion enclosure. Enjoy. Okay, so now in game, you can see, or I've already started doing some terraforming for the lion enclosure. This was just because the live stream, I decided to cut it from here. And the first thing I wanted to do is designate the area where the guests will go to look into the lion enclosure. So I wanted the lion enclosure to be a bit lowered for two reasons. Mainly so the guests can look down on the lions and see them from above, but also so I can have this little pride rock area that I do seem to love to do. I did that in a Zoo Tycoon video a long time ago when I was still playing Zoo Tycoon. And I think it turned out quite nicely, although someone told me it looked like a buried turtle, I think. A half-buried turtle, that was it. But I think it looks good. The lions can go up there and it looks quite cool for the guests, as you will see later on in the video. And yeah, I mean, I do play a lot around with the rocks in this game, so there's a lot of time spent on placing rocks, and that's why I also want to speed up these videos, because otherwise you will just see me placing rocks a lot. In the meantime, the ostriches do like to escape a little bit, running over the water into the other side of the rocks, which is technically outside of the enclosure. They get like in between the glass wall and the knob area. I need to actually find a solution for that. In that little bit where you saw me go over there, it was just me freeing them. I was also having to help the lemurs because they do get very stressed, because the amount of guests they get in the walk-in enclosure is huge and they don't seem to get a lot of privacy, so I placed a few walls to try and help them. But the issues do keep arising and I have to end up placing more and more walls to help them. Some of which you won't see in this video because it's mainly focused on the lion enclosure. If you want to see things like that and me live commentating to it, then please just check out the stream. You know, you can join me. I know currently it's a bit annoying because I don't really announce the stream because I myself don't know when I'm going to stream it. But in the future I will hopefully have some sort of schedule that you can see, and then hopefully join the stream, give some name suggestions, some animal suggestions, some other cool suggestions like adding some water, adding certain bits of path, adding a certain feature to an enclosure, all those kind of things you can suggest in the live chat. Obviously you can also suggest stuff in the comments of the YouTube video, but when it's live I can, you know, possibly do it directly depending on how many suggestions I've had at that point. So I've brought my first line into the enclosure just to see where they can reach, to make sure they can actually get on their little pride rock, because otherwise what is the point if they can't actually get there? In the Zoo Tycoon that was a lot more difficult, but in this game it just generates a sort of nav mesh and it shows you exactly where they can go, where they might have issues. And for this enclosure, once again, I decided to go for a pre-built building because they just look pretty good, and I'm not the greatest at building. I do try some building later on in this stream, which is not in this video, but probably the next video. But here I mainly focus on rocks and trees and, you know, foliage and other natural things. I feel like I'm better with natural looking stuff than cool looking buildings. Although I've been watching some other videos to hopefully give me some help, some inspiration to make it better. So right now we are placing more rocks and obviously trees and toys for the lions to play with, just to make, you know, the enclosure the best for the lions. And here you can watch me trying to place some sort of like shady area for the lions. I do end up going with a slightly taller structure and a slightly wider screen. I haven't actually seen the lions go into the shadow yet. Maybe if I add some bedding they might go there. But I thought it just looked cool to give them some extra shade, and it kind of fits to the theme. And our first guests have already come to look at the lions, even though we're not quite finished with the enclosure yet, as you might guess from the timing of this video. We're only about halfway through, building this enclosure, because there's just so much more I wanted to add to make it look better, and it did turn out much better. Okay, that's a spoiler, and probably just me thinking that. So before we continue on the actual lion enclosure area, we kind of wanted to make the surrounding area prettier. Here you can see me rescuing the ostriches once again and actually fixing the issue now, so hopefully they will not escape into that little area anymore. Here we had some problem with terraforming, so this game has some amazing terraforming, but it can get a bit glitchy sometimes with paths and other things in the way. So usually you have to get rid of paths and fencing before, or not before, but you have to get rid of them in order to do the terraforming you're going to do. So I did that, added a water feature. Is it a feature or is it just a pool? I guess a little pool. And then one of my favorite pastimes in this game, which is adding rocks to make things look better. So we basically made it look like the guest path, where the guests view the Lion Enclosure, is sat on top of these rocks on the other side of the water, which I thought looked quite cool. And then we just added a bunch of flowers and different plants and trees alongside the edge of this, which in the end I think looked quite nice. People in the chat also seem to like it. Here we're back at the Lemur Enclosure again, trying to add more secluded areas for the lemurs that they can hide if they need to. I just have a feeling they don't quite know they can. I mean, they go there and the stress level goes down, but I think what I found out is that the noise stresses them out too, not just the seeing people. So I'm not quite sure how we will actually fix that. Maybe we need to give them more space, but for that we need to redesign a whole thing. Maybe the path just needs redesigning, so there's more space where there's no path. That could help. Back at the Lion Enclosure, we decided to fix up the second half of the path. So we've done the thing on the one side, and now we will do a similar thing on the other side with the rocks and placing the plants. So the path looks like it goes along this long, cliff face, I guess, because on one side it's tall, the other side is low. That's a cliff, right? Sure. So this is the bit where I actually start the part of this enclosure that I really like, which is not really part of the enclosure, but it's part of the whole scenery around the enclosure. So what I decided to do here is make it look like this area transitions over into like a dense forest or like a jungle part, so that this is like the edge of the forest and turns into a savanna. I don't know how realistic that actually looks, but I think it looks quite good. And then we can also use it as a zoo transition, so that behind where this forest starts we will transition into different biomes, like a jungle biome, and then from there we can transition into other things. So I tried to just make it look like a nice transition at the top of the cliff. So we're using some different kinds of rocks to also indicate, oh yeah, this is the start of a different biome. So the bottom part is still, the savanna rocks, and the top part is the jungle rocks and the mossy jungle rocks, I think they are. And then we, in order to save some time, first of all, we have to fix some lemur enclosure business. So the baby lemurs seem to be able to climb a lot more things and escape. There we go. There's what I was trying to say. We copy paste that over just to save some time, because at this point we were an hour and a half into the stream, and I felt like we've done enough work on making it look unique. I think a bit of copy pasting didn't look too bad. I don't think it looks like it's too copy pasted. I think it still looks quite good. And I think we're almost at the point where I will pass you back over to past live, Alex, to see the live commentary on me looking at the enclosure and the animals in the enclosure. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll pass over to you, live Alex. Yeah. And there's still that weird brick wall here, but apart from that, I think it looks pretty good. There we go. You don't seem to want to lie down there, but that's fine. I might do it at some point. Ah, look at that! Playing with his mother. Guess the mother didn't like it. Now he doesn't know what to do. Cinematic. It's Simba, everybody. Is it actually a male? No, it's a female. Oh, and it's pooping. Let's leave us some privacy for that.